A team of scientists led by Dr. Susan were working deep under the ocean, inside a highly secured research facility where they were experimenting on genetically modified sharks to extract a rare protein that could cure Alzheimer's. But the problem was that sharks naturally didn't produce enough of that protein, so instead of waiting, they used an illegal chemical to increase the size of the sharks' brains, forcing them to produce more of it without realizing they were creating something far more dangerous. During one of the procedures, a massive shark suddenly sensed a slight disturbance and woke up. Its eyes slowly opened, and within seconds, alarms started going off. The shark began to move violently, smashing against the restraints while the entire team panicked. But somehow they managed to sedate it again just in time, and without wasting a second, Susan implanted a device into its brain and inserted a long needle deep inside its skull, extracting the protein. While the shark's body reacted, even in an unconscious state, the tension in the room was unbearable. But finally, they succeeded. Back in the lab, they tested the protein on damaged brain cells, and everyone stood silently watching as the dead cells slowly started regenerating, turning into a miracle that could save millions of lives. The room filled with excitement, but that celebration didn't last long because one careless mistake changed everything. A scientist lit a cigarette near the shark tank, and the smell was enough to wake the shark instantly. Before anyone could react, it attacked and tore his arm off within seconds. Blood filled the water, screams echoed across the lab, and chaos took over as the shark broke free. Carter immediately grabbed a harpoon gun trying to stop it, but Susan made a critical decision. She released the shark deeper into the facility to protect the research data, making the situation even worse. Outside, a violent storm had already begun, waves crashing, winds howling, and rescue was no longer possible. Inside the facility, things started collapsing when they tried to evacuate. An injured team member using a helicopter, the shark grabbed onto the cable, dragged it violently, and caused the helicopter to crash into the tower, resulting in a massive explosion that spread fire across multiple sections, destroyed communication systems, and allowed water to start flooding the base. Now trapped deep underwater, the team realized something terrifying. These sharks were no longer normal. They were thinking, planning, and hunting with intelligence. One of the sharks grabbed a dead body and used it to smash through a glass wall, flooding the lab with freezing ocean water, while the survivors barely escaped through a security gate, sealing it behind them as water chased them through the corridors. They moved through maintenance tunnels, climbing, crawling, slipping, trying to find any way out, but the sharks were always close, watching, waiting. On the upper level, a chef got separated and was silently hunted by a smaller shark. He ran into a kitchen and in a desperate move trapped it inside an oven, causing a powerful explosion that killed it, but the danger was far from over. Meanwhile, the rest of the team kept losing members. One slipped into the water and was instantly dragged away with no chance to react. Fear turned into desperation, and that's when Susan finally revealed the truth. The chemical they used had not only increased protein production, but also made the sharks far more intelligent, turning them into strategic predators. Trying to escape into the open ocean, the team attempted to use a mini submarine, but it had already been destroyed, leaving them with no safe option. They swam through flooded sections, climbed broken structures, and fought against time, eventually reaching a control room where they managed to activate a pump system, giving them a brief moment of hope, but another sudden attack shattered it again. More deaths, more chaos, until they came up with one final plan: to escape through an emergency exit by flooding a chamber and balancing pressure using fire extinguishers to create bubbles that confused the sharks, allowing them to reach the surface. But even then, the nightmare wasn't over. A final shark
attacked again, fast, brutal, unstoppable. The chef fought back, stabbing its eyes and barely surviving, and at that moment, they understood. If they didn't kill it, it would escape into the ocean and no one would be safe. So they prepared a harpoon connected to electricity, but the shark refused to come close, forcing Susan to make one last decision. She cut her hand, let the blood flow, and jumped into the water, using herself as bait. But the shark was faster and smarter and killed her instantly, leaving only Carter and the chef alive. Carter jumped into the water, faced the shark, dodged its attacks, and grabbed onto its fin, holding on with everything he had, while the chef fired the harpoon, but it accidentally pierced through Carter's leg as well, creating a deadly situation where he could die any second. But using his last strength, Carter freed himself just in time, and the chef connected the wire, sending a massive electric shock through the shark, causing a powerful explosion that finally killed it, leaving only 2 survivors behind in a destroyed facility surrounded by silence, proving that they tried to control nature, and in return, nature destroyed everything. In the end, they didn't just lose their team. They lost control over something they were never meant to control.
This is exactly why humans should never try to interfere with nature beyond limits. Because the moment we try to play with it, it always finds a way to strike back. Science can save lives, but when it crosses boundaries, it becomes destruction. And what started as a cure ended as a nightmare. Signing off, Rahul.